On Friday, stocks climbed and ended a strong first half of the year on a high note. All three major stock indices recorded strong performances for both the year's second quarter and first half. The Nasdaq was up more than 30% since the start of this year, while the S&P 500 gained about 16% and the Dow was up mildly by about 4%. And more good news is that the Fed's Preferred Inflation Index, or the PCE, or personal consumption, showed prices rose 3.8% in May on a year-over-year basis, and this is down from about 4.4% year-over-year back in April. Further, there was a surprise upward revision to the first quarter GDP, which showed the U.S. economy is a bit stronger than many on Wall Street thought. Me too. And lastly, Apple's market valuation hit $3 trillion on Friday, making it the first publicly traded company to touch the milestone twice. And Apple's gain of more than 45% goes to explain a lot of the gain for the Nasdaq. So don't be too depressed if your index or stocks aren't up 45% this year. Mine aren't. So let's go back to the 2-year weekly chart on the spiders, and as you can see, the close on Friday was 443.28, drawing the channel line, bottom channel line moving up through like that, and the top channel line moving through like that. So we bumped up against the channel line, top channel line there, and we're coming back again. I would imagine we're going to hit that next week, perhaps even pierce through that upper channel line. Definitely we've gone past this level here, so the next target is going to be that high there. We might get there. I would say though maybe late next week or the following week. But things look like they're accelerating, and let's take a look at the oscillators. First, volume is fine, no problems there, but here you can see in the MACD where the fast line and the slow line are both continuing on up, and there's a bit of acceleration. We'll look at that more closely in the histogram. As you can see, well above that zero line, continuing on up, eclipsing this level back here in late 2021, early 2022. So it looks like acceleration on up, so that's telling me that most likely we could breach that upper channel line. Moving here into the histogram, you can see that acceleration up through here. So back to this trend we saw weeks ago, where we started here and came through here and down like that. Not real good, but you can see that perhaps this was the top. We came back down and then on up, and definitely broke up and above that downward trend line, and that's good news. You can see good news in the price rate of change as well, is we're accelerating on up. We had kind of a level move for those several months, but now we're heading on up. So we're getting that swing. Here, the same thing in the relative strength index. This is a little bit straighter with a continuation on up, but perhaps the last few weeks are heading up steeper. I imagine we're going to get into that overbought territory next week, and that is good. Moving on into the stochastics, you can see pretty much the same thing. It's been in this overbought territory for a couple of months now. Those through there, and as you can see, we did come down, but we're spiking back on up, and I think that's going to continue to trundle along in that overbought territory. The same thing with Williams. It's been there since back here in April, all the way through there, came below, but reflected on up again, and I think there's enough strength for it to hang up there for a while. Back to the price chart. So for the most part, I think you can see that the majority of the oscillators are telling us up, 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 not real strongly, kind of a stealth rally, But as you can see, we're bumping up against that top channel line. I think we'll go through and head for this level here. But that doesn't mean you have to jump in, simply because the Nasdaq and the S&P are relatively strong, but the Russell and the Dow aren't. So there's a bit of a conundrum. So I would say go look for those deep value stocks. There's plenty of them out there, and we'll continue to cover those for you. And for today, that's ChewDog Charts. Thank you.